I know, just also public campus.
Hey, I'm Brett.
Hi, I'm Brandon.
And you're Brandon?
Do a thing they said. Matt,
Nice to meet you guys.
if this is free speech, it's free speech. Back in there if you want.
So, hey, Brandon, I'm an independent journalist,
Nice to
and
meet
I
you.
came out here because I heard that something was going to be happening.
Yes.
Are you a student here?
I am a student here.
Okay, I'd love to know your perspective on what's happening across the nation and here at this campus.
Honestly, I think it's really sad to see what's going on. I acknowledge there's obviously both loss on either side, of course. I just think that they have the right to protest, of course. It's their freedom of speech, First Amendment. I'm a First Amendment guy. However, where it becomes illegal is when they call for the intifada and when they call from the river to the sea, which they don't know what that means, most of them if you ask them. But the problem when they chant that is they're calling for the death of all Jews around the world and in Israel. An intifada, I don't know if you guys know what the intifada is.
Yeah, I'd love for you to
The
share
intifada
what
is
an
pretty
intifada
much
is.
a call for death of Jews in the state of Israel. It's Jews around the world as well. It's basically a bunch of radicals who just attack Jews and kill them. They are violating the First Amendment because the First Amendment is very hard to violate. Freedom of speech is protected under the First Amendment. I mean hate speech, excuse me. The House of Representatives passed from the river to the sea is actually anti-Semitic and it's calling for the death of Jews. So they actually acknowledge that. So by them calling for the river to the sea and the intifada, they're calling for the death, which is a death threat, which is actually a violation of the First Amendment.
So tell me, for people who don't know what that means, what does it, because we hear that a lot, right?
Which is
From
what?
the river to the sea,
So from the
Palestine
river-
will be
from the
free.
river
What
to
does
the
that
sea
mean?
is a call. It's a radical call. Again, I'm not saying all of these people are radical. Let me say that right now. But what they're chanting is from the river, the Jordan River, which goes along Israel on the east side, and the sea, which is the Mediterranean Sea. So they're calling for the complete annihilation of all Jewish individuals who live in Israel. From the river to the sea, Palestine will be free. Where do the Israelis go if they want to? Where are they going? I don't know where they're going. Are they just going to kill them? I don't know where they're going. That's pretty much what that means.
How do you feel as a Jewish student right now on campus with all this going on?
I feel like my group of people aren't being represented. They aren't being the sun for like 2 hours. They aren't being represented properly. I think that more could be done to stop the radical calls. If you look across all of the campuses, Columbia, they basically had a call in like the National Guard. I mean, in Texas, University of Texas, they called in the National Guard. San Diego State, there's been warnings. They told Jews in Columbia not to go to school. Imagine telling a group of people not to go to school because they're not safe. What kind of America do we live in where Jews, which are a minority, there's only maybe 2 million Jews in America, maybe less, and there's probably only 15 million Jews in the whole world. So we're not even 0.1% of the population. Imagine telling us that we shouldn't come to school because we're threatened by these people. That's not fair, and that's a violation.
So let me ask you this. What do you think? Obviously, this is a tension point right now in America and internationally. What do you think the solution is to this tension that we're seeing grow really rapidly on campuses? My first question would be, what's the solution?
I don't even know. It's a really big problem because by the day more people are becoming radicalized. They don't understand what Gaza is all about. I've been to Israel. I've been to the border. I've been to the fence. I have friends who are in the IDF. My best friend is in the IDF, the Israeli Defense Force. And the horrors that have happened since October 7th. I mean, you guys know what happened on October 7th, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Do you know who Golda Meir is by any chance? Have you heard of her? So she was the old prime minister of Israel. The only woman to ever be in the Middle East, from my understanding, as someone who's in power. She said that if the Arabs put down their weapons, there'll be peace. If Israel put down their weapons, there won't be in Israel. And again, I was in Israel. I had dinner with Arabs, with Palestinians. We're all human.
Yeah.
You know, there's no one better than anyone else. So the fact that they're calling for the death of Jews, I think it's very sad. I guarantee you half of these people don't know what river to what sea, because I've asked them and they don't know.
Have you had conversations with any of the protesters who are protesting?
No, they don't want to talk.
They don't want to talk. No.
Because they know they'll be destroyed. I know my history on both sides, and they will be obliterated, obviously, with words.
Yeah, no,
if they got into a discussion. So their only argument is, let's just not speak to them.
Now, what do you think where's this headed if it doesn't?
Worse.
What do you think?
I think it's going to become even more radicalized, unfortunately. I think that we're only headed in one direction. That's not a good direction. There has to be something, there has to be laws placed that prevent, not freedom of speech, let me make it clear, but not allowing calls for intifada, because that obviously makes someone like myself passionate, calling for the death of my family, my 6-year-old cousin in Israel, calling for the death of my cousin when these people haven't even been within 2,000 metric kilometers of Israel. It doesn't make sense. So a lot of these people, I feel bad for them, and I really do pray for them. I really do. I'll pray in front of you guys. I really pray for them because they don't understand what's going on. They don't understand that if you go to Gaza as someone who's part of the LGBTQ plus community, you'll be stoned. They killed a leader of Hamas because he came out as gay. So like, they'll push you off a building. Like, people don't understand that what they're calling for, yeah, human rights. Sure, everyone deserves human rights. But if Hamas doesn't give them human rights, I don't really understand what they're calling for. Arabs in Israel, there's about 2 million Arabs who live in Israel. They live the most peaceful lives. They're friends. I went on a trip to Israel, it's called Birthright. And my bus driver was an Arab guy. We had the best time ever. These people make it out that Israelis, Jews, and Arabs don't get along. It doesn't even make sense. They're trying to incite violence that's not necessarily there. If you look at the protests, I know I'm on a tangent here, but if you look at the protests, it was just me and my one buddy over there, who's actually a Christian. We're the ones who aren't chanting for the death of anyone. We're just standing there holding an Israeli flag. That's all we're doing.
Brandon, I appreciate you. You're brave to be speaking passionately from a place that's factual and historical, especially as there is a lot of heat on this topic right now.
A lot of tension.
Yeah, there's a lot of tension. So I'm praying for you too.
Thank you very much.
And I hope that this will come to a quick close. I think that after talking with you, the main problem is that there's such a lack of conversation.
Yes.
That it's just a lot of yelling.
There's no dialogue. I would love to meet with the leader of whatever protest this is and just talk to them. I'm not trying to fight.
Yeah.
I don't want to fight anyone. I just want to talk to them and just be like, I actually spoke to a guy at the Starbucks, which is funny. They don't want to go to Starbucks. I spoke to someone at Starbucks. He was a Muslim man who came up to me, shook my hand, I shook his, wished him a happy Ramadan, which just ended. And we just discussed for 10 minutes and it was the best conversation ever. We both acknowledge that we're human at the end of the day.
Yeah. Yep, we're human at the end of the day.
I pray for them.
Thank you, Brandon. I appreciate it. What's your last name?
Raik, R-A-I-K.
All right, thank you. Thank you.